Welcome back, everybody. Would you settle for a lesser cut of meat if it at a lesser price, maybe a much lesser price? David Burke is a chef extraordinaire, hospitality management president, very popular restaurant, Park Avenue Kitchen, where he's trying that out. And it seems to be very popular. David, very good to have you. Tell us what you're doing. Can you hear us, David?
I can barely hear you.
Okay. Well, I'm going to shout it then. Tell me how this works. How this excellent. How this cheaper cut of meat is working. You give them endless fries. Tell us about it.
Oh yeah. Well, what we're trying to do is drive business by giving people value. So we, sometimes we use skirt steak, but skirt steak's not cheap anymore. There's really not an inexpensive cut. My company has buying power, so we're able to buy dry aged meat at a good sirloin and use a little bit smaller on a portion at a value driven price. And fries, fries are filling people up, and fries, we make them homemade and they're delicious. So there's a value driven component to being able to go out and get a steak dinner for between 30 and, in some cases it's $25 at our happy hour at Park Avenue Kitchen by David Burke Tavern in New York. It's a $40 10-ounce sirloin with steak frites, which is still, compared to a steakhouse, is a great deal.
So that's a $24 meal, right? If you go that route. You have a 32-ounce dry-aged porterhouse for two that goes for $145. A 40-ounce dry-aged prime swinging tomahawk for two, which is really the only way to go. That's $160.
Yes.
How many are taking advantage of that?
We have seen, well, there's still good deals because that type of meat and that type of cut, some restaurants are charging $200. So there's a value still there. But those have dropped off in sales in the recent weeks, and people are going for individual cuts of meat. Lots of chicken and lots of fish are being sold. But the prize fighting steaks like the porterhouse and the tomahawk, there's always room for that for certain clientele. But for the masses, we're trying to give somebody something that'll come back at once a week for it, as opposed to a celebration steak.
You have a lot of signature appetizers and the like. You're well known for your clothesline bacon. That's $19. That's a signature meal in of itself. So I wonder if people come in, all right, I'll just have the appetizer.
People will come in for appetizers, and that's okay too, as well. And they'll come in for a couple of glasses of wine and an appetizer or two, and that's okay with us as well. We want to drive traffic. Driving traffic keeps our waiters being paid, as well as our staff. And then at nighttime, of course, we're full in the restaurants anyway. In certain locations, lunch as well. The key is to keep the volume up, and then we can figure out how to make money. If we were to serve porterhouse and swinging tomahawks only, it would not be sustainable. So if the bacon is actually a bargain at $19. What's happening in right now is when you go out, people forget that you're paying 10%, almost 10% tax and 20% tip. So you're adding 30%. So you're adding 30% to everything that you buy. So if the filet mignon is $55, the side dish is $15, and a glass of wine is $20, you're up to $90. You add tax and tip at $120 for a glass of wine and a main course in a decent restaurant in New York City.
All right. Well, you have a lot of decent restaurants, and that bacon is one of the signature things I know you feature on in Morristown, New Jersey, of all places. Very good having you, all right? And keep us posted on how this is going. You're trying to help your customers out and still stay in business. It seems to be working. All right. In the meantime,
thank
you. Go
you.
ahead.
I was saying it's a strategy. It's like playing a sport.